Okay, let's talk about weird jobs, man. I'm gonna talk about the weirdest job I've ever had. Yeah, so basically, I worked at a worm farm for almost a year, 9 months. 9 months I spent at a worm farm. So I'm just gonna talk about it because I think it's pretty funny. So let's roll the clock back. During COVID, the college I was at, they did this like online networking, meet the employer bullshit thing, right? So joined this one table. It was me and four other people. Most of the guys that were talking to the owners about this job, they were not going to get it no matter what. They were like mad, like Aspergery, super autismo. There was no chance in hell. They were just like spaghetti out of pockets flying out. It was impossible. Although me and this one international student, this Chinese guy, we both were probably the most well-spoken out of the group. Immediately, like the hiring manager, he was like already like asking us a lot of questions, but I beat out this Chinese guy just because this guy to demonstrate how much of a good here's the thing, the job, before I even say that, this job was a financial analyst job, by the way. That's what this position was, financial analyst / marketing specialist. So this Chinese guy, he shows his sneaker collection to these people on the webcam, and he's like, this is these Jordan 1s, I sold them for a profit. This is how you know I'd be good for this role. Also, the guy was showing Jordan 1s to like 50-year-old like pseudo boomers. So like they don't know, they're not the type of guys that would like give a flying fuck about Jordans. Also, they were mad racist, which I didn't know until I started working there. So poor man didn't have a chance. Well, anyway, they liked my ass because I lied about hunting and like how I'm a true Albertan and I love hockey, even though I've never been to a hockey game in my life. Never will go. Fuck it. Before I started, I was not expecting it. I didn't know what I was signing up for. That's what this video is about, is this job and how much this company, which I can't name, was an absolute clusterfuck from start to finish. My first day / interview, right? So off the bat, I should have asked where the location was for this place. And it turns out it wasn't even in the city. It was like on the outskirts of the city. The guy wanted me to be there for 6 a.m. Monday to Friday. So every day, my pale ass would drive all the way to this spot that was just industrial sector galore. Like there was nothing. There was like a Quiznos there and like the shittiest Starbucks possible. So my first day, I meet the CEO. I should have known that this guy was absolutely retarded from the start because I looked at his LinkedIn. His LinkedIn profile picture was a picture that he took with his phone of his own, I guess his face that was on a computer screen with his cell phone, and then uploaded it to LinkedIn. Because you can see like the lines and shit, like the quality of the photo, and it's like not a if you don't know how to upload to LinkedIn at 50, if you were 80 years old, that's a different thing. I know tons of 80-year-olds who are like barely hanging on, but 50. So that was my introduction to this guy. During the interview, he's just asking like random, like, typical interview stuff. So it goes well. He doesn't clearly say if I got the job or not, but he gives me a hard hat and goes, "Okay, follow me." He gives me a tour of the whole facility. He tells me that every person in the company has to work in the warehousing section before they can work in the office, which is fucking stupid, because I know for a fact the management was not packaging orders, and neither was some of the other guys. So I told him, I'm like, okay, well, whatever, fine. This is my first internship, so I wanted to, grease the wheels, so to speak, right? He's showing me around the facility, and doesn't explain really anything. He just kind of goes, "This is what this is, that's what that is, and here's this." And I was like, great. Like, I'm pretending to take notes because I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this information? It's just dirt everywhere. And then there's like some bedding where the worms are hanging out, right? And he was like, "You want to feel them?" Like, I guess. So I did. They did what you think they would do, right? Then we go back to his table, and then he's like, "All right, so it's $15 an hour." And I'm like, "All right, fine, whatever, fuck it. I guess that's, beggars can't be choosers." So I get the job. That much was pretty much certain. I mean, I don't think anyone else really applied for it, and I was like, all right, so be it. The role was not explained, though. Like, he didn't really go into detail what exactly I would be doing. He said, "You're finance and marketing." I'm like, all right. So my first actual day rolls up. First day I roll up 6 a.m. No one's there. I'm like waiting outside because I can't get in, and then someone lets me in and whatever. I'm like, all right, cool. Go in, set my laptop up. I meet the supervisor eventually. He's one of the sons of the founders, And I'm going to talk about the management and the founders soon, trust me, because that's a whole fucking thing. My supervisor was this Viet guy whose entire life philosophy was buying expensive shit. That's it. No personality, like not a fucking ounce of personality aside from, he gave me his life's philosophy. He's like, when I wake up, the sheets have to be Italian. When I go to my closet, all the clothes have to be designer. The car has to be luxurious. I'm like, why? He's like, because that's what sets me right for the day. The company also didn't pay him for 10 months. So I immediately was like, oh my fucking God, I've made it very clear. I'm like, if they don't pay me immediately, I'm not coming back, and they can go finger their whole pussy. And eventually I became close with this guy, and I was like, you should probably get a lawyer. And he's like, I don't think it needs to come to that. I'm like, you should probably get a lawyer, especially because you and your dad are getting butt fucked by these boomers. Anyway, my first week there, I was doing some of the baggaging with like the worm. It's called, the stuff that we were packaging was called worm casting. It's basically just shit. It's worm shit. While we're packaging orders, a dude is like super hyped. He's like, it's Friday, super excited, like really happy with this job. He fucking drives the forklift, forks first into a door, $35,000 to replace the door. And he goes, fuck, like just that for the entire afternoon. It's awesome. It's awesome. I love seeing actual crash outs in person. I guess I should say this. So I was technically part of the marketing team, but our marketing team was a chemical engineer, his sister, who was graphic designer, and then this one girl that absolutely sucked ass, who was also part of marketing, but she was like an abysmal graphic designer. I don't even know why they hired her. She's like one of those like weird like theater girls that said crap all the time. And she also would like put lipstick on, but her lipstick would like stain her teeth. So that was really cool, having period blood teeth at work. And the management, oh man, the management, that's, brother, where to begin? So I did a lot of stuff at that job. Like I did web design, I did financial analysis, reporting. We shot a commercial for them that they insisted that was important. After we finished it, they didn't like it, so we had to trash it. And then they had a meeting to ask us why there was nothing getting done right after they just trashed the commercial. Also, one of the guys kept asking us to use his kids, and he had like a lot of like pictures of his kids basically naked, and we're like, we can't use this, and I don't want to save pictures of your children on my laptop because it's a personal laptop. I don't want thousands of pictures of your kids. Oh my God, dude. We had to keep in mind, this is like my first office job, right? And they were asking me if I was like an expert in graphic design. I was like, no. Okay, well, how good are you with web design? I'm like, I've done some. Okay, have you ever prepared a stakeholder presentation? I'm like, no, never in my life. And then they're looking at me like I'm dumbfounded. It's like, you understand you hired like a student for an internship, right? I assumed there'd be like at least two fucking Neanderthals here that would know how to do something, but they did not. So me and my supervisor prepared a information circular for these stakeholders, and these motherfuckers gave these guys like $2, $3, $4 million. That's how much they believed in this worm breeding concept, is like millions. And we had to prepare this meeting for them. The day before, we showed up at 6 a.m. and we worked from 6 a.m. basically, I think all the way to 11 o'clock at night. And then one of the guys who was like the CEO's right-hand man, the CEO's right-hand most retarded man, he's looking at the expenses and he's like, that ain't right. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, it says we're spending $300,000 a month. I'm like, yeah, we are. Why? Because we have 4 facilities. The facility we're in right now is 40,000 square feet of industrial cooling systems. I think he was director of operations. He didn't even know where the money was being spent on. This fucking idiot from Quebec. Keep in mind, this company, they bought out a company that was, what were they doing? Oh, they were like experimenting with like psilocybin patents and marijuana. The amount of shit that this company had before the company I worked for moved in is insane. They had like infrared scanners. They had like decontamination chambers. The company I worked for rehired a guy that was from that company, who was making $800,000 a year, and all he did was like go up to mushrooms, take samples from the mushrooms he grew. These weren't even like psychedelic mushrooms. They were just like fucking gay little mushrooms that you can put in a salad. So basically, the meeting went absolutely nowhere. Thankfully, I didn't have to present shit, because if I had to present, I would have just like stretched my balls over my face and screamed into them. But the company was losing so much money that they like restructured the management like 5 different times. Every once in a while, I like to check just to see what the fuck is going on. Like, what are these boys up to, man? And then like I just see the CEOs now, like I don't think he's with the company anymore, actually. But the funny thing is all these dudes, right? They pooled their money together, because they were all dudes that had like successful businesses. They like my main boss, the CEO, he had like 8 mil, because he had like some kind of steam company before. I don't know. It was Valve, a steam company. Yeah, he had some kind of weird engineering thing. I don't know what it was. I don't know how he was a fucking engineer, I'll tell you what. Because that guy was an engineer, then I'm Chinese. The worms themselves, though, were sick. I will say that. The worms were pretty cool. Like, dealing with the worms. It was just funny to say that you worked at a worm farm, because we're like, what do you do all day? And it's like, well, I don't do anything exciting. I do financial analysis. The guys that rake the worms, that's an exciting job. Most of these dudes are like weirdos that live out like in the boonies. So they just come to the factory, they rake these worms, and then they fuck off. Me and the brother of that, the sister I was talking about, that was the graphic designer, him and I both hated the job so much that we would just start playing Counter-Strike. Like, we would just, they insisted that we showed up to the office, even though it was COVID and people were freaking about COVID. So we were like, fuck you, there's no work to be done because you guys keep changing stuff, so we'll just play Counter-Strike. So him and I had some good fucking CSGO sessions at the worm factory. I tell you what, who else can say that they played CSGO in a worm factory? That's what I thought. One and one only, baby. Yeah, no, man, that's my worm farm story. It was a total clusterfuck from start to finish, and I will never work with worms ever again. Peace.